It doesn't matter if you're a newer FNAF fan or an older one. Chances are you've all come across videos recommended to you by a channel under the name of FusionZGamer. It's hard for me to imagine that there is even a single person out there that isn't aware of this guy, since he is well known among other Five Nights at Freddy's YouTubers as well. Regardless, for those that aren't initiated with the foxy icon wielding legend, FusionZGamer is a YouTuber who mainly plays FNAF fan games but hops onto other trending indie titles during the height of their popularity. He has been making content for well over a decade now and has still managed to retain a good proportion of his audience alongside keeping his channel afloat despite the changes implemented not only on YouTube but the wider FNAF fandom as a whole. Today we're going to be discussing just how it is he's managed to keep up the online hustle, because to be frank, Fusion and his channel are the biggest mystery I've come across on YouTube. A gamer can encompass many things, so I think it's best if we start off with what it is that Fusion really does over on his channel. Indie horror games are his niche, and if he isn't making half an hour long let's plays on Baldi's Basics, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Garden of Banban, or Roblox of all things, then he's out there scouring the internet for the latest and most recent Five Nights at Freddy's fan games to showcase on YouTube. This allows for him to highlight underrated developers and creative individuals while keeping Five Nights at Freddy's enthusiasts provided with no shortage of content. All the while, he benefits from the exchange too. Although something to note is how his videos don't contain a face cam and are completely unedited from start to finish. Moreover, this method of creating videos is something Fusion has kept up with since he started YouTube. If you don't understand why this is such a big and puzzling deal, that's over 10 years of almost daily uploads with almost no change whatsoever to the type of content being posted. On top of that, unedited content used to flourish without fault during the golden age of gaming content on YouTube and decreased attention spans among the new generation of content consumers. It's especially astonishing that this lack of adaptation hasn't drastically and dramatically affected Fusion's growth. When I covered Markiplier's secret to relevancy on YouTube, which you can watch here, one of the most important points I covered was how Mark's ability to change his content and his desire to experiment with various styles of videos was what kept his audience on their toes, as the only thing consistent about his work was how inconsistent it was, meaning viewers would always have something new to munch on. That formula can be seen with almost any OG YouTuber that's still kicking around now. Think Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and Crank Gameplays. That is, any OG YouTuber aside from FusionZGamer, of course. I tried to sit through some of his newer videos and I personally couldn't spot any changes from what he produced way back when, right down to the way he spoke and constructed sentences.
What's up guys, and welcome to another Return to Freddy's 1 remake overdone. Now, if you guys don't know what this game is, we actually played it on the channel close to 2 years ago, I want to say. And what's up guys, and welcome back to Animatronics Universe. In the last video, we built Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the entire office system, the animatronics, everything, including Golden Freddy.
To give you an idea of how plainly boring it was, I'm gonna keep the rest of this video unedited as well, just to prove my point. And no, this definitely has nothing to do with how lazy I am to edit right now. Nope, not me. Case in point being that the unedited and rather bland format of his videos should be enough to technically drive away returning viewers. So what is it that separates Fusion from the rest of YouTube? What is it that grants him this shield of invincibility to the crushing tides of the algorithm? Well, I went on a quest to find out more about the person behind the channel, and you wanna know what I found? Nothing. No, like quite literally nothing. Fusion has no other online presence aside from his Twitter account, which is just a barren wasteland devoid of any personality. Still, there is at least more to find there than with his brother, who only has his gaming YouTube channel and nothing else available to find. This only raises more questions. A rather formulaic and tedious style of videos do have the possibility of going viral if the person making them is interesting enough to captivate and intrigue an audience just through their speech or personality alone. Penguin Z0 and Pyrocynical are great examples of this. But now I have come to find out that alongside not having any face cam with no thought-provoking gameplay, Fusion also doesn't advertise or post himself elsewhere either. The more I tried to make sense of his stats, the more I was driven insane. Now I know what you all must be thinking. The answer is obvious, isn't it? FusionZGamer must be a kids-based channel or a FNAF content farm that attracts the clicks of infants. But while it is true that its content is targeted towards those younger, it's not as blatantly obvious or manipulative as some other cases. It just so happens that Fusion's videos are watchable by all, but I don't believe that that necessarily means he's trying to exploit the YouTube algorithm. It's far from it, since other YouTubers respect and know him too. And that's when it hit me. Fusion isn't popular for his editing, content, thumbnails, opinions, or even personality. It's due to his reliability as a FNAF YouTuber that plays games. Think about it. Fusion started his career off at a time when FNAF and just games as a whole were the golden egg to farm on YouTube, and thus his lack of editing didn't deter people from watching. Eventually though, his brand and voice became so recognizably iconic that you knew what you were getting into once you clicked on one of his videos. And that's how remaining unchanged was actually beneficial for his long-lasting career. To all the skeptics out there that still don't see the correlation, look no further than his aforementioned brother's channel. Rexter has the same voice and accent as Fusion while also playing the exact same games as him with the same format too, and yet his videos fail to perform and are nothing but a speck of dust when compared to Fusion. As unfortunate as that is, it makes sense since these brothers' type of content isn't destined to work. And yet, it did for Fusion since he established himself first and made a career out of being the guy that plays fan games. Knowing all this and putting it out there, I want to clarify that this video isn't an attack directed toward either Fusion or Rexter. Their states on YouTube did puzzle me and catch me off guard, and just because their content isn't my cup of tea doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. If anything, more power to Fusion for grinding since the early days to now being able to play games for a living comfortably, and for also giving me an excuse to not edit this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing and leaving a comment down below. I love whatever you guys have to say regarding any of the topics I cover in my videos. In the meantime though, here are 2 videos that YouTube thinks that you'd enjoy. Give them a shot. I bet you won't be disappointed. Until next time, this has been Vexodus, and see ya.